Yes, okay, we will begin then. See, I will start with the revision of yesterday what we did, that is valence bond theory. So if you remember, we are explaining this valence bond theory by taking the example of formation of hydrogen molecule. Okay, how hydrogen molecule orbitals combine together and then they give you hydrogen molecule. That is what you are explaining using the VBT theory, okay, valence bond theory. And so far you have learned only about the Lewis theory, how the bonding formation has taken place. But there was no involvement of the atomic orbitals, because we know inside the atom, it's not only the orbital orbit, we have the orbital also. So that also has to be considered, no? So using that orbital, the theory which was came forward was valence bond theory. Okay. So when you take the example of hydrogen molecule to explain, in the hydrogen molecule, there are two hydrogen atoms. So here one hydrogen atom, you can imagine here one hydrogen atom is there and then we have another hydrogen atom. So initially, imagine that they have not approached each other. Okay, this hydrogen atom are at far distance from each other. So if they are at very far distance from one another, okay, where the distance I can write r is infinity because they are at very far distance. So when they are at very far distance, there is no energy, okay, that potential energy, what we say, no, that potential energy is zero in this case when they are at far distance from each other. And the distance is very large. So there is no force of attraction, okay, in this case, the force of attraction also I will write as zero. So there is no force of attraction. But as the atoms are approaching each other, you know, inside the atom there is nucleus which is positively charged and then there is electron which is negatively charged. Here another atom also there is a nucleus which is positively charged and then we have electrons which are negatively charged. Okay. So if they are approaching each other, there will be forces which will come into picture. Okay, so what are those forces which can come into picture? One is attractive forces and then we have the repulsive forces. Okay, attractive forces, already there is attractive force between them. Okay, inside the atom, the nucleus and the electrons are having an attractive force, and even here the another atom also, nucleus and the electron, they are having an attractive force between them. But then when they are approaching each other, this nucleus also can get attracted. No, the nucleus A can get attracted with the electron of B. Okay, and the nucleus of B can get attracted with the electron of A. So there is one more attractive force which comes into picture. And then as they are coming closer to each other, along with the attraction, there is one more force which is being observed, that is repulsive force. Repulsive force will be between the two charges, that is the nucleus and the electron and the electron. Okay, so I have told you like how to represent this in the form of a diagram. So when the two atoms are at very far distance from each other, imagine that very far, then here the potential value will be zero. As they are nearing to each other, the potential value, you can see it is decreasing. Okay, far distance it will be zero. Okay, on the line itself, here potential energy, you can see it's zero when they are very far distance at infinity from each other. But as they are approaching, you can see that the potential energy starts decreasing. Why the potential energy decreases? Because when they have to form the bond, there will be a certain amount of energy released. Okay, so when the energy gets released from the two atoms, okay, then automatically you will see that the bond becomes stronger and stronger and they become stable. Okay, two hydrogen atoms were not stable like that. Okay, so why there is a bond formation, why two atoms want to combine together and form a bond? The reason is because they want to become stable. Okay, so when they want to attain that stability, they have to do certain amount of work. Okay, if a bond has to be formed, then from both the atoms certain amount of energy has to be released. So when the energy gets released, you can see here the potential energy of the whole system starts decreasing. Okay, and once the attractive force and the repulsive force gets balanced with each other, then the bond formation takes place. Okay, and that length, what we get, that length is called as bond length. Okay, so here is where the case where the bond formation happens, where I said the repulsive force and the attractive force gets balanced with each other. Suppose if you try to get these atoms still closer, okay, now here the bond has been formed, but if you are wanting them to come little more closer, that time what happens, the nucleus of this A atom and the nucleus of this B atom will start repelling each other, and even the electrons of the A atom and the electrons of the B atom will start repelling one another. So if there is repulsion taking place, then what happens? The potential energy will start increasing and then stability will start decreasing. Okay, in this case you can see that the graph goes up. The reason is because if you still decrease the radius, in that case potential energy will start increasing, means they will start repelling one another. When they start repelling another, energy will start increasing, means if two people start fighting, then automatically their energy increases, no? So in that case what will happen to the stability will start decreasing. Then these two atoms doesn't want to be in a company with each other. Okay, they will want to separate. So here breaking of two bonds will start taking place. Then again they will go apart from each other. Okay, if you just bring them a little more closer. So when they are balanced, when the attractive force and the repulsive force are balanced, only then this bond formation takes place. Okay, so seeing all this, they have given the postulates for us where they say that when the hydrogen molecule, okay, when the hydrogen molecule is formed, yeah, I had sent you the notes, right? So you were supposed to write whatever I have done in the last class. This was last class. Yeah, you were supposed to draw that also. Okay. So when the hydrogen molecule is being formed, okay, you can see here in the hydrogen 1s orbital is there, which has one electron, and another hydrogen has also 1s, one electron. Okay, so this is one s orbital and then another s orbital. So this s orbital and s orbital gets fused with each other. Okay, so there is interpenetration of the orbital. It's like the two space are combined together. Okay, so two space gets combined with each other. So when they combine with each other, there is formation of the bond taking place. Okay, this is also called as overlapping of atomic orbital, fusing of two atomic orbitals. So they get fused with each other. When they are forming the bond, these two orbitals get fused with each other to form a new orbital. Okay, so that is called as interpenetration of atomic orbital or overlapping of atomic orbital. So you can even imagine, see, I've taken an analogy example. When you prepare the omelette, if you're putting two egg, that time what happens? This egg white and egg white will get combined with each other. So this yellow one, you imagine like a nucleus. Okay, so one egg you had and another egg you had, and then when you broke them together, okay, that egg white is there, no, that gets fused with each other. So that is how the atomic orbital also you all imagine. Okay, so there is a nucleus of one atom and then there is orbital present. Okay, like that only we have another atom also, nucleus is there and then we have the orbital. So when they combine together, there is fusion of these orbital taking place. Okay, so this is how, and then the electron will be revolving in this molecular orbital because they combine together to form a molecule. No, this will be called as molecular orbital. Okay. And then the next point they said, greater is the extent of overlapping, stronger will be that bond. Okay, so extent of overlapping will decide the bond strength. So here, suppose if two atomic orbital, s and s orbital, if I take, if they have just joined only so much, then the bond strength will be very weak. But if they are overlapping little more, okay, then this will be a stronger one. Okay, still if they overlap more, then the bond will still get stronger and stronger. Okay, so when the overlapping increases, the bond strength also increases. So more is the greater is the overlapping, more is the overlapping, stronger will be that bond formed. Okay, so that is the next concept they say. Better is the overlapping, stronger is the bond formed. I told you an example of like your fingers. If you take only that little finger and combine together, see that bond will not be that strong. You can separate them easily. But if you take two fingers, it will be a little better. 3 1 still better. But if you take all your 5 fingers, it will become a full hand, and then if you combine with one more hand, that will be a stronger one. Okay, so here more is the overlapping, extent of overlapping, more stronger is that bond. Okay, so you can imagine your connect with your daily life and then try to remember. Yeah, they combine together and they become one. That will be called as molecular orbital. Two atomic orbitals fuse together and they become one orbital. Okay, that will be called as molecular orbital. It's a theoretical concept. Okay, they are just imagining this is how the VBT, but then there is an advanced theory which we will come forward for that. So now this is what the theoretical concept is given by the VBT. Okay, they say two atomic orbitals are there, two atomic orbitals fuse together to form molecular orbital. And then when this bond is being formed, okay, like in this case of hydrogen, you know, one electron is there, no, one s has one electron, and another hydrogen also has one electron in the s orbital. So this s orbital contains one electron and another hydrogen atom contains one more electron. Okay, so when they combine together, when they fuse together, these electrons will start pairing with one another. Okay, so these opposite spin electron will start getting paired with each other. No, nucleus cannot become one, no, when the orbital combines. See, nucleus are, see, one is positively charged and the other one is also positively charged. So I said you can't get them still more closer. If they come little more closer, then there is repulsion happening. It will come to such a distance where the attractive and the repulsive force are balanced. More than that, they will not come together and fuse. Okay, that is not possible because of the same like charges. Okay, followed. Why does the nucleus don't fuse with each other? Because nucleus are of like charges. If they come little more closer, I told you, in the hydrogen case, what was happening? At a certain distance, they were coming, there was attractive force. Okay, but if you still get them closer and closer, okay, and then that time what happens? Due to that repulsive force, they will get away from each other and the bond will start breaking. So then the bond formation will not happen if you bring the nucleus closer to each other. Okay, there is a minimum distance at which the nucleus should be placed from one another. Only then the bond formation takes place. Yeah, electrons also undergo like repulsion. Both electrons and electrons, that's what I said. In the hydrogen, there are two forces operating. One is attractive force, other one is repulsive. So where were the repulsive forces coming into picture? One was because of the nucleus and the nucleus, and the other one is because of the electron and the electron. Okay, so electrons and electrons were also repelling one another, and this nucleus and nucleus is also experiencing the repulsion. So I said that has to be balanced. The attractive force and the repulsive force, when they get balanced, only then the bond formation happens. Suppose if you are going to get them still closer, then the repulsive force will be more dominating than compared to attractive force. If repulsive force becomes more dominating, then finally they have to get separated. You can imagine with two friends, okay, two different people have come from different school and they come to one college. Now when you come to the college, okay, you become friends. Maybe you liked few characteristics about that person, so you became friends. Okay, so when you became friends, there are flaws in that person, plus there is good nature also is there. So when you balance both, then you will become a friend. But if the bad things like the negative character comes out more, then what will happen? Then there will be a clash happening, then there will be a fight. So when that fight happens, then you can't, because the negative nature has become more and then you don't like each other, then obviously you will get separated from one another. Okay, but if you balance both, you consider the flaws also, you consider the good point of that person, if you balance both together, then that friendship will stay over there. But if the negative things becomes more than the positive one, then automatically they will get separated out. Okay, so that is what happens even in the bond formation. Here also same thing takes place. Electrons will be in that particular molecular orbital. Okay, they will fuse together. Now here with opposite spin they can combine together and then that will be stable. With opposite spin they will combine together. If they combine with opposite spin, then they will be stable. Two electrons in a orbital are stable, no? So that is fine, but more than this you can't put together. Okay, yes, I will continue, students. So this was the last class VBT concept which we have finished. Now we will start with what are different types of overlapping which is happening. Okay, when you have different kind of orbital, okay, the overlapping which takes place are also of different kind, because some are oriented in different direction. No, you have spatial arrangement of orbitals. One atomic orbital fuses with another atomic orbital. Two are there, no, one each. Altogether two. if you want a fusion to happen, then two things has to combine together, correct? Yeah, both combine together to form one. And VBT is limited only for diatomic molecules, okay? They are explaining only about diatomic molecules, where like you are talking about one atom combined with another atom to form a molecule. So VBT concept is limited only to this. And that's a limitation, that is a failure of VBT, which they could not explain for more than two atoms. If you are talking about triatomic molecule, okay, like for example, carbon dioxide, ammonia, then you can't explain with this VBT concept. That's the drawback. That is a failure. So we have another theory which was come forward. Two orbitals. No, two orbitals. Like that you are saying. Then it you can take p orbital. That is possible. Yeah, that is possible. Okay. P orbital, you see how many divisions are there? 3 are there, no? That is possible. Okay. See, the doubt is, can we take two atomic orbitals and combine together? Okay. Yes, you can take, but they will be in the different axis. But in S, we have only one possibility, no? S, however they combine, they are non-directional in nature. So, however you get them, it looks the same. Okay. But if you are taking p orbitals, I will come to that. Okay. You will understand in a better way. So, I will continue then. Then later, you all ask me the doubts, okay? Because these concepts are going to come forward. Yes, correct. Molecular orbital is a common space between the two orbitals. Yes, very good, correct. That is the correct thing. P orbital is possible. It is possible. I will tell you how it is possible, okay? No, you all write down. Whatever I do in the class, you all write down, okay? Yes. So the type of overlapping, I said there are different types of overlapping and the bond formed will be of different category. See, Lewis concept could not explain. Lewis said whatever bonds are there, it is of same category. He did not tell us what type of bond it is. But here, when you are taking VBT into consideration, you get to know that there are different type of overlapping happening. And when the overlapping is different, the type of bond formed are different. Okay. So different overlapping leads to different bond formation. So one bond which is being formed is called as sigma bond, okay, and the another one category is called as pi bond, okay. One is sigma bond and the other one is pi bond. Now sigma bond means what? Sigma bond means if the overlapping happens on the axis, okay, on the axis, it can be any orbital. It can be s orbital, it can be p orbital, it can be d orbital, okay. So if the overlapping happens on the axis, means head on, okay, end to end overlapping, okay, like this. Now s orbital, if I take, this is the way s orbital can combine together, okay. So here they have fused together, so here they have formed the molecular orbital. This will lead to sigma bond, okay. So it is called as, it is also named as end to end overlapping, okay, end to end. And s orbital, since it is non-directional, I told you, anyhow you take them, it will appear like this only, okay, in any direction, because it's non-directional in nature. But p orbital, suppose if you are getting p orbital, okay, this is how the shape, no, remember, you need to remember the shape. If you don't know the shape, you will not be able to understand the overlapping concept. P orbital, you know, it has a dumbbell shape. So if I have one p orbital and another p orbital, if I bring on the axis, okay, same axis, then they can fuse together and then this bond will be called as sigma bond, okay, end to end overlapping. So if the overlapping happens along the internuclear axis, on the axis, either it can be x-axis, y-axis or z-axis. But if you are getting them on the axis, like how we combine two hands together, no, okay, so in one axis the combination takes place. So like that, if the bond is formed, that type of bond is called as sigma bond. So here I can just write sigma. Sigma is denoted, you see how the symbol is, like this we write, okay. So that is sigma bond. Now what is pi bond? Pi bond means if the overlapping happens perpendicular to the axis, okay, this way. So if I take one orbital this direction and another orbital, see, it is perpendicular, no? If this is the axis, if this is the axis, it is perpendicular to the axis. So like this, if they fuse together, if two orbitals fuse like this, then such type of bond will be called as pi bond, okay. Such bonds are called as pi bond, and this two together fusing leads to one pi bond. That you need to keep in mind. Students, they think that here one is here and one is another one, it will give two pi bond. No, one orbital, it is one orbital. When one orbital and another orbital combine together, it leads to one pi bond. So if the overlapping happens like this, you can keep your hand, okay, straight. If you keep your hand like this, perpendicular, and then if the fusion happens, okay, then that will be pi bond. But if you take them on the axis, x-axis, then that will be called as sigma bond. So these are the two types. Okay, so sigma bond, I said, it is formed by axial overlapping of the atomic orbitals. Okay, axial overlapping of atomic orbitals, if that is taking place, okay, of half filled atomic orbitals, not the fully filled atomic orbital. That you will understand when I take the example. Okay, because fully filled means electrons are paired. No, if electrons are paired, then they can't combine with another one. Like if you have already combined your one hand with the another one, then it is not possible. If your one hand is free, then you can combine with the another person. Okay, yeah, I will explain here. See, sigma bond and pi bond in detail I will be explaining. See, sigma bond means, because there are different types also which you need to study. So if the bond formed is by axial overlapping of half-filled atomic orbital. Axial overlapping means on the axis, okay, on the axis. Like for example, s orbital, I said. S orbital combines with another s orbital. Okay, if I take this as the axis, this is the axis, you imagine, x-axis. So on the axis, these two atomic orbitals have combined together. Then such type of bonding is called as sigma bond. Okay, you can take even the example of the p orbital. I said if I take p orbital in this direction and another p orbital also combines with this, okay, then the bond formed is called as sigma bond. Okay, these are sigma bond. So axial overlapping means in one particular axis. Okay, the bond which is formed by overlapping of half-filled atomic orbital in one particular axis, that is called as sigma bond. Okay, axial overlapping. So it can be between s, it can be between the p orbital, but one axis, you remember, one axis have overlap with each other in this way. So in the sigma bond, we have three different category. Okay, different types of sigma bond is being formed. So there are three types of overlapping of atomic orbital which is formed. Okay, so in the sigma bond category, there are three types of overlapping. So we will discuss all the three with the example I will take. So you can take down now. Yes, we'll continue. So I said sigma bond is formed by axial overlapping of half-filled atomic orbitals. Okay, half-filled orbitals, fully filled orbitals cannot participate in forming a bond because already they are having two electrons. So you know that in one orbital you can't put more than two electrons. That is not possible. So here there are three types of sigma bond which we can get, okay, based on the overlapping. See, one is SS overlapping. So what do you mean by S and S overlapping? S and S overlapping means where one s orbital, that is one half-filled s orbital, combines with the another half-filled s orbital. Then such type of overlapping is called as SS overlapping. So in this case, there is overlapping of two half-filled s orbital along the internuclear axis. Okay, like I gave you example of hydrogen molecule itself. So here, see, one s orbital, generally I will take one s orbital and then another s orbital. You fuse them together. Okay, so if they overlap in this way, then the bond which is formed over here, this bond is called as sigma bond. Yeah, I will tell you that. If one is perpendicular and the other one is on the axis, you have that type of overlapping. Okay. So your S is overlapping. I hope it is clear. In this case, there is overlapping of, you are taking two half filled. Okay, remember it has to be half filled. So two half filled S orbital along the internuclear axis. So when they combine together, this bond is called as a sigma bond. No, two fully filled orbitals, S orbital cannot overlap. See, for example, in the case of helium, let me take helium example. Helium, if you take, it is 1s2, correct, no? So if I am taking now helium molecule, if you want to explain that helium molecule, can that be possible? So if you are having 1s, now here two electrons are paired. Another 1s orbital of helium atom, if you take, again electrons are paired. So can you take this paired electron and combine with another orbital? Will this be happening? Will this be possible, you think? Will the fusion be possible of these s orbital? This will not be possible. Why? Because electrons are already paired. So if this is the case, that is the reason why helium molecule does not exist. We have only helium atom existing. Okay. So here, why helium molecule does not exist? Because helium atom itself has a paired electron and another helium atom also has a paired electron. So if they are already having paired electron, that fusion will not be possible. Only if they are having half-filled orbital where they are having one electron each, then that fusion is possible. Okay. Like example here, formation of hydrogen molecule. So hydrogen molecule H2 means one hydrogen atom has one s orbital, another hydrogen atom has one s orbital. Okay, I'm taking two different hydrogen atoms. So your s orbital, okay, has one electron. I'll just write one electron here. Okay, plus one more s orbital has one more electron. I will take opposite spin because you know when they combine together, it should be of opposite spin. So when they fuse together, these two electrons will start pairing from one another. Okay, they will form a pair and then the bond can be formed because they are having unpaired electron. One has one unpaired electron, another has one unpaired electron. Then the fusion is possible. Then this will lead to the formation of a sigma bond. Okay. Whereas helium atom, you have seen that in the helium atom, you saw that two electrons are present in one helium atom and another helium also has two electrons each. Then this fusion is not possible. Okay, this is not possible. So we don't have helium molecule existing. Yes, correct. Beryllium molecule is also not possible. Correct. Good. Because electrons are paired, no? According to our VBT concept, it is not possible. Be2 cannot be possible. Be2 cannot be existing. So you take down this example, how the formation I've explained, no? Formation of H2 molecule. Then you write one hydrogen atom has one s electron. Another hydrogen atom also has one s electron. So you write here 1s and this is 1s. They fuse together to form this orbital, hydrogen molecule. This is hydrogen molecule. And the bond formed is called as sigma bond. Yeah, so I hope this part is clear. No, hydrogen molecule, how they are formed is clear. Okay, we'll go for next one. See. Next overlapping is called as sp overlapping. Okay, so in this sp overlapping, what happens is, see, as the name says, s and then p. So that means one half-filled s orbital overlaps with the half-filled p orbital. Okay, then such type of overlapping is named as sp overlapping. Like one s orbital you take and one p orbital you take, okay, in one particular axis. So these two overlap together. So they fuse together, and then this is how the molecular orbital will be formed. Okay, here there is fusion happening, and then this leads to formation of sigma bond. Okay, so this type of bonding is called as sp overlapping, where half filled one, okay, this can be any s orbital. I'll just write s orbital. It can be any s orbital for that matter. Okay, so this s orbital fuses with the half filled p orbital. Half filled s orbital fuses with half filled p orbital to form sp overlapping. Okay, example for this, see, example for this type of concept is formation of HF molecule. So you can understand here H electronic configuration you write N1s1, one electron is there, and then fluorine atom we have atomic number is 9, correct? No, so it is 1s2, 2s2, 2p5. In this also you split and write. See, these will not participate. 1s2, 2s2 will not participate in the bonding. Who are going to participate? That is the p orbital. Okay, so how many electrons are there in the p orbital? Altogether there are 5. Which one will participate now? This paired one again in the p orbital, 3 divisions you are having. So these two will not participate. Okay, who will be participating? This one will be participating. Okay, so this is one p orbital which is having unpaired electron. So here I will draw s orbital which has one unpaired electron, and then I am taking one p orbital which has unpaired electron. Okay, so they fuse together. So there is fusion of these two orbital happening. Okay, and then the electron will get paired. Okay, so here we have H hydrogen atom, and then this is fluorine atom. Okay, and hydrogen has s electron, one s electron, and this is 2p orbital. Okay, one 2p orbital. X and Y are filled. Only the Z one is there, which is having one unpaired electron. So they get fused together. So this happens on the axis, okay? Axial overlapping. Just like two hands, I said, no, two hands if you combine together like this, okay? One hand when you hold with another person. So how will that overlapping will be? Like on the axis, the overlapping can happen, okay? So that is how the overlapping happens, and it leads to formation of HF molecule. I hope it's clear. You are getting it, no? Formation of hydrogen F molecule, and this overlapping. Yeah, this is the second type of overlapping. In the sigma bond only, this bond formed is called a sigma bond itself. First type I told you s and s orbital are overlapping. Second type where s and p orbital are overlapping. But then these are overlapping on the axis itself. Okay, these two atomic orbitals are overlapping on the axis. Okay, in one particular axis they are overlapping. So then the bond formed is called as sigma bond itself. So in the sigma bond, second type is this, how the sigma bond can be formed. Second category is this. Third one you see when 2p orbital overlap. Half filled 2p orbital means one p orbital which is half filled and another p orbital which is half filled. They overlap with each other to form a sigma bond. So this is also possible. 2p orbital can also overlap with each other to form a sigma bond. Which one? Which p orbital? You're talking about HF molecule. Yeah, the one which is fully filled, they are not participating. No. Who is participating in the bond formation? The one which has alone one electron. So this requires one more electron. No. This p orbital, the last p orbital, if you want, I will change the color and show you. The last p orbital. This p orbital has only one electron. So they need one more electron. So that is the reason why they combine with hydrogen atom. Okay, which leads to formation of this sigma bond. These two are not participating. Okay, in the p orbital, the electrons which are paired, these two are there, no, who are paired, they don't participate in the bond formation. Only this will be participating. Okay, like how Lewis, if you are writing Lewis structure, we will write it like this. Okay, single bond. But then how that bond is formed, we are explaining using VBT. Okay, where one hydrogen atom has one electron in the s orbital and one unpaired electron is present in one of the p orbital. They overlap together to form HF molecule. Yes, next one. That was second type. Third category I told when 2p orbital overlap. Okay, half filled 2p orbital overlap on the axis. Like one p orbital, this is one p orbital plus I have another p orbital. If they are approaching like this, This is the way they are approaching. On the axis only they are approaching. See, everything I have written in a similar fashion. On the axis, one particular axis, if they are overlapping, okay, then the bond formed here, okay, this way. I can represent this in this way. Okay, here, like this. And then this bond will be called as sigma bond, okay. 2p orbital, one half filled p orbital, another half filled p orbital, overlap together to form pp overlapping. But this is on the axis, one particular axis. Possible, okay. Example, you see, formation of F2 molecules. Formation of F2 molecules. So in the F2 molecule, you know, fluorine atom, one fluorine atom, I'll take here, one more fluorine atom on this side, okay. Atomic number is 9. 2 fluorine atoms, similar atoms they are. So 1s2, 2s2, 2p5, okay. Here also, 1s2, 2s2, 2p5, okay. So in this p orbital, we have 5 electrons, okay. One is unpaired. Again here, p orbital I am taking, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and then one is unpaired, okay. So who will be participating in the bond formation? The last one, correct, no? Because they require one electron each. So this one unpaired electron of one fluorine atom, okay, and this also the orbital which contains one unpaired electron. These two orbital which contains unpaired electron, okay, they will overlap together, and these are of similar type. No, they are in the same axis. See, if I take this as px and this as py, this is the pz, and here this is px, py, and then here is the pz, okay. So these pz and pz are on the same axis, then they can overlap with one another, okay. So I will write them in one particular axis. Imagine that this is a pz orbital, fuses with another pz orbital, they combine together to form fluorine molecule, this way, okay. So here fluorine atom, one fluorine atom and another fluorine atom, giving you F2 molecule, and this is a sigma bond formed. I hope it's clear. This part is clear. Formation of F2 molecule. This 3 category, whatever I discussed, all these are sigma bond, okay, because everything was overlapping on the axis. Is it clear, students? Anything to ask? Any doubt in the sigma bond? If you are clear, let me continue with the next. If you have doubt, quickly ask me. No. Py and Pz, they don't form a bond at all, no? They are not forming a bond. See, I know you are thinking about like this maybe. See, p orbital is this way, correct, no? These are the shape of the p orbital. Agree? So only the one which contains unpaired electron, these will pair up, okay. These have paired electron, these are having paired electrons, so they don't combine with each other. This will remain as it is. Here you can put the electron, here electron, and then this side electron, you put the electron here. That's fine, okay. No, imagine that this is the pz orbital which are overlapping. See, if the two orbital has fused together, that means they are on the same axis. So I can take this as x and this as y. This we are arranging them according to if the molecule, because we know already the molecule has been formed. You are explaining using VBT how the molecule might have formed, okay. So here, this, let me take that as pz, okay. This is pz and pz orbital which we are able to get on the axis. See, electron sign I have put no here. This is the electron sign, you can put it, okay, or you can shade it, that's fine, okay, no problem. You just show the overlapping part. To make it more clear, I have put the electron. Py and Pz, see here, I said Pz and Pz which has unpaired electron, they are overlapping. Px and Py which are having paired electron, they don't overlap with one another. Because they are already having paired electrons, so it is not possible for them to combine together. They will not fuse together, okay, and they don't. If there is one atom, okay, one atom with only one electron in the p orbital and another atom with 4 electrons in the p orbital, okay, you are talking about like this. One p orbital has maybe one unpaired electron like this. Four unpaired electron, is it? Like this. You are talking like this. This is the doubt. Like you are having one orbital where there is, or 4 electron you are saying like this maybe. This is what your doubt is maybe, no? One orbital has 4 electron and another orbital has 1 electron. Correct, no? Then they should be on the axis. This overlapping is not possible. You are talking about this, no? If this is a situation, will that be possible? No, it will not be possible. Because they should be able to orient themselves in the same axis. If they are not able to orient themselves in the same axis, that fusion is not possible. It should be in the same internuclear axis. So I said here Pz and then Pz, possible. But suppose if it was Pi, Py and then Pz, that is not possible. Okay, clear? I hope it's clear now. Yeah, that's what. That is the next thing. Now I will go for the next one. Pi bond also is there. So this is about sigma bond. You are talking about sigma bond, no? Sigma bond should be on the same internuclear axis. Okay? Yes. Okay, now we'll go for the next one. Yeah, now see here, pi bond, how they are formed. Pi bond is formed by sideways overlapping or lateral overlapping of the half-filled atomic orbital, okay, like this. If two atomic orbitals overlap like this, in this fashion, okay, two orbitals are coming in this fashion, then when they fuse together, this type of bonding which takes place, no, this is how the fusion can happen, okay. One orbital and another orbital, they get fused together, okay. So here, like you can see, two fusion are happening, like one lobe is fusing and another lobe is fusing. This type of bond is called as pi bond, okay. So when you fuse two, you remember it's only one which is formed, okay. This bond is called as pi bond. So lateral overlapping, perpendicular to the axis, okay. Sideways overlapping also we can call them. Lateral overlapping, sideways overlapping or perpendicular to the internuclear axis if the orbitals are combining, then such type of bond is called as pi bond. Okay, now see, and pi bond, you remember, the pi bond which is formed, no, is usually weaker than compared to the sigma bond. Sigma bond is always stronger. Okay, you can take this analogy as the example. See, imagine you are holding, two people are holding the hands. Plus, if I ask them to hold the leg also, okay, holding the hand is fine, that will be stronger. But if they start holding the leg and then if I ask them to walk, you think that will be it will be a stable one? No, that will be not stable because they will find it difficult to walk, okay, if they want to combine with their leg also. So holding the hand and the leg, okay, it's not possible together. So holding the hand is fine, that is a sigma bond, but holding the leg together, two fusion, you can imagine that way and remember this, okay. So that will be difficult. So such type of bond is pi bond, where two orbitals or lobes are fusing together. So then this type of bond which is formed, no, it's not a stronger bond, it's a weaker one. Pi bonds are usually a weaker one because of this kind of overlapping which is happening. Okay. Now example for this. Example I can take here, formation of O2 molecule, that is oxygen molecule, how they are formed. See how these are formed. Oxygen atomic number you all know, no? Atomic number is 8. One more oxygen atom, atomic number 8. Okay. So here I can write electronic configuration 1s2, 2s2, 2p4. Okay. Here also, this side also, one more oxygen atom, 1s2, 2s2, 2p4. Okay. Now see here, in the p orbital there are 4 electrons, 1, 2, 3 and then 4. Okay. Another p orbital also has 4 electrons, 1, 2, 3 and then 4. Okay. Now you draw the p orbital. You know there are p orbital which are total p subshell I'm talking about. Okay, there is 3 division. One I am not taking. Okay, this one I will not take because these are paired. No, this we will not consider because paired ones they don't participate in the bonding. So which is remaining the y and the z one. Okay, so imagine one is in this way. Another orbital also is there. No, 2 more are remaining. Okay, having unpaired electron. So this way. Okay. Now if these are overlapping together, okay, how many bonds can be formed? What type of different bonds can be formed here? See, one they can overlap. Okay, one way of possible overlapping for them is sideways overlapping, this way. Okay, these two orbitals are overlapping together. Okay, if this way is overlapping, what is the bond form, students? If this is the way they are going to overlapping, these are overlapping on one particular axis, correct? No, so if they are overlapping like this, then the bond formed is sigma bond, correct? No, so here there is formation of the sigma bond. Yes, correct. Now see, another orbital which is present perpendicular, so they can get fused like this. Okay, because they are having unpaired electron, they will get fused like this. Then here the bond formed is there. No, that is the pi bond. Okay, so if I have to combine and show you together, see when they fuse together and combine, one orbital which has unpaired electron on the axis combined with half-filled orbital on the axis itself. So this led to formation of the sigma bond. And the other one which was perpendicular, okay, this is how they were perpendicular. These will fuse together. You can just show it, okay, like this only you can show it. So this leads to formation of pi bond, okay. So in the oxygen atom, if you are saying Lewis structure, when we draw, you saw that there is a double bond. Okay, so then Lewis did not tell that what type of bond it is, what is the nature of that bond, but the BBT tells you that one is a sigma bond and the other one is a pi bond. Okay, so that means both the bond which is there, it is not a same category. One is a stronger one and the other one is a weaker bond. Yeah, both can take place together also. Pi bond and sigma bond can happen together. So it depends on how the orbitals are oriented. So here we can see one orbital. Okay, they are oriented in the axis, so they can combine together. One way fusion is this. Another way of fusing is in this way. Okay, so like this, if they are fusing where they are perpendicular, then it leads to formation of pi bond. Did you follow? Formation of oxygen molecule. Shall I give you one more example? If you have a doubt here, one more example if you want, I will give you. You can also even think how many type of different bonds can be formed here. See, I am taking formation of now, formation of a nitrogen molecule. See, formation of nitrogen molecule. See, nitrogen atomic number is 7, no? So I can write electronic configuration as 1s2, 2s2, 2p3. Okay, another nitrogen atom because we are talking about formation of molecule. So 1s2, 2s2, 2p3. So all the three orbitals are having unpaired electron. 1, 2, 3. Even here 1, 2, 3. Okay, so if they are supposed to be represented, I should represent three orbitals. So I have taken 1, 1, 2 and then another one I will take this side, okay, on the z axis. So here also, okay, this way 1, 2 and then another one, that is the third one. Okay, now here you all tell me what are the different possible type of bond I can expect over here. Think and tell me what are the different possibility of getting different type of bond. What are the different types of bond which is possible? Yes, very good. That is what it is. Okay, so here if you see the orientation, I hope now you are able to get it. Okay, you see the orientation here. Okay, if they are fusing like this, they are coming on the axis, okay, where they can combine like this straight away, they can combine side by side, end to end, they can combine. So if they are able to combine end to end, that means the possible bond is a sigma bond, okay. And another one, these two orbitals which are there, no, they are perpendicular. So these two will fuse together. The one which are perpendicular, no, here, if I label this as X and this let me take as Y and this as Z. So here also I will label this as X, this one as Y and then Z. So here X and X will fuse together. That will be forming a sigma bond because sideways overlapping. Okay. And then these two are perpendicular. So that will be giving you lateral overlapping. Okay. So your lateral overlapping will give rise to one pi bond. And another one, Z and Z is there. No, these are also like perpendicular only, no? Perpendicular to the axis. Okay. This way it is. So your Z axis and Z axis will fuse together. So it will give rise to one more pi bond. Okay. So your nitrogen will have a triple bond. Yes. Done. Okay. I will stop here. Only for diatomic molecules, we can make use of VBT concept to explain the overlapping and then explain how the bond is and what are different kind of bond formed. But when you are having so many different atoms combined together, okay, polyatomic molecules, you can't use this overlapping concept and explain.